So today's project is a piece of Magnolia. It's quite large. It's about 9.5 inches tall, and the diameter is roughly about somewhere about the same, but 9 inches. So let's get it mounted on the lathe and let's turn it into a hollow form. Let's make sure we've got enough clearance. Spin the thing freely and get it started. I think the speed we're running at there is roughly somewhere about 800, and we're using a Robert Sorby 1.5" spindle roughing gauge. So we'll just speed this up so we can get it down into a round. So obviously we're checking every now and again and advancing our tool rest, keeping that finger gap out the way. Nearly there. So we're getting near round now, so we're just going to slow it down a little bit and take a nice easy cut all the way along. That's us around, so now we're just squaring the end up. I'm going to put a tenon on this end that we're working on so that we can turn it around and put it in a chuck. So we're using a beading and parting tool there. It's a record power one. It's 10mm, so it's on a 10mm bar. So I need roughly an 8mm tenon. I've just checked the size. It should be 52mm for my SC4 chuck. And now I'm just putting a little bit of rough shape in it. Before we actually mount it to the chuck, we're just going to take some of the weight off, putting a little bit of rough shape in it. I used a spindle roughing gauge to begin with, and now I'm just going to change over to a 3/8 bowl gauge. There it is. It's a 3/8 bowl gauge. That one's from Simon Hope, although it's in a Robert Sorby handle. Now I'm just kind of setting a base here. It's not actually 100% the right size yet, but we'll fix that in a minute. Well, I've changed an overhead view for you. I'm just putting some shape into it. I'm looking for a sort of classic Greek urn kind of shape, if you like. A narrow neck with a wide flare top. It'll not be as wide as that when it's finished. And just bring it down nicely into a nice narrow neck. And what I intend to do in the neck is I'm going to put a band on it with a couple of lines. And we'll put a coloured band in the neck. So we'll put a couple of marks in the neck and bun lines in. So I'm just using my 1.5" scraper there, a negative rake scraper, just to finish off that little bit in the neck, which is quite awkward to get to. Oh, mount it in the chuck. Bring up our tool rest. And I'm just going to use again a 3/8 bowl gauge. So I'm just going to finish off. Well, actually not quite finish off, but we're just going to set that bottom. And I'm going to spare you all the sanding, so it's just a quick zip through the sanding for up to 400, because we want to colour this piece. That camera's not very well positioned for you there, guys, but it's hovering anyway, so you can actually see the bit you need to see down in the bottom left hand corner of the screen. That's a 3/8 bowl gauge again, and we're just going to take out that trumpet end, if you like, you want to call it that. And I'm going to take this all the way in and take off the little centre piece there, and get rid of that, and then get rid of the tailstock completely. There it goes. So now we get rid of the tailstock, and I'm going to use a Forstner bit just to drill ourselves a hole down through the middle, just to save a bit of time. This is all at times 8 speed, by the way, guys, so that's as far in as I can get with that. So we'll give it a clean out, and we'll just finish off the opening. It's not quite finish off, but we'll widen it out a bit, and with a 3/8 bowl gauge. And I've now changed to a Simon Hope Pro Hollower with the 8mm cutter on it, just to hog out the wood. Use the vacuum there just to clean it out every now and again. And now I'm using the Simon Hope 10mm crank neck hollowing tool to get in around the shoulder, make sure that's nice and cleaned out. It's actually quite a good view of it from there. So that tool is designed just to really for just doing that in round that corner. Don't be sticking that way down into a bowl, guys. It won't do you any, or into a hollow form, won't do you any good. It starts to catch like the very devil. So having hollowed it out, we're going to sand it up again, up to 400 again. I didn't bore you with that, so that's me just inspecting it with a little lamp. Now, just to finish off the bottom, as far as I want to go in so as I can sand it properly, I'm using the skew because it produces a much better cut. Now, quick jump forward there. Gave it a coat of intrinsic red, ruby, and a little bit of flame in it. And now I'm adding that, as I said, suggested earlier, that black band round the neck, just as a highlight feature. Didn't bore you with that because it's not, it's just sprayed it on, it's not that big a deal. Quick application of some sanding sealer, that's chestnut acrylic sanding sealer I've sprayed on there. Give it a bit of a wipe off. Michelle came in to join me there. That's Michelle's dainty little feet, you see that? So we're just kind of de-nibbing the sanding sealer. I did actually give it 2 coats of sanding sealer, but I've only let you see the one. And now we're giving it a coat of Hampshire Sheen high gloss wax. And we'll give that a buff up as well in a moment. So when you're buffing up Hampshire Sheen, you don't need any pressure, guys. Just let the paper touch the workpiece, and it will buff it up. If you press on it, you're just liable to end up with streaks because you'll overheat it. Now I've stuck that board on there just because I'm using some lacquer, and this is just Halfords lacquer, Halfords car automobile lacquer. So I gave it 3 coats. And then a day later, I'm cutting it back now with some 400 grit sandpaper. Just lightly cut it back to take away any little blemishes. You kind of get like an orange peel effect. So we cut it back a little bit, cleaned it off with some methylated spirits, and let it flash dry, and then give it another 3 coats of lacquer. I did that twice. So in total this piece has had 9 coats of lacquer. And there's the finished piece with Maurice the Mouse. Changed the picture here in a second. And just to add a little bit further embellishment to it, I did gold leaf the rim as well. The thing I like about the intrinsic colours, it kind of highlights the grain there. This is Magnolia and it doesn't have much grain. So there you are, guys, that's a little short video for you. Thanks very much for watching, And if you've not already subscribed to my channel, if you would consider doing so, I would be delighted. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch you all on the next one.